Hello and welcome to another Modern Toy Fair Let's Pose, where I show you how to pose figures like I do in the photos at the end of my reviews. Today I'm going to be posing the new Marvel Legends animated series Doc Ock. As always, let me know in the comments below what figures you'd like to see me pose next. The list is slowly growing and I'm trying to get through it, however some figures will be a little easier to get than others, so I do appreciate your patience. That's enough chitter chatter, let's go ahead and get at her. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We are going to do just some basic posing here. Get his arms behind his back. Make him a little bit like he's strolling around the lab. Let's get that arm back there. Now it is easier if you try to bend it close to the gauntlet first. It doesn't naturally want to do that though, so you have to kind of fiddle with it. He get his arms behind his back there. Bring the left leg forward. We're going to twist the waist a little bit. Bring this leg back, and then kind of just finagle it until you get him to balance. Let me twist this ankle, and come on. Come on, there we go. Nope. Yeah, trying to find center of gravity is a little bit difficult, but there we go. And now you just have to adjust it so that way he's not sitting all crooked. Maybe. Haha. And now it looks like he's just taking a stroll through the lab. But that's not why you're here. You want to see him with his tentacles. So let's go ahead and add those. There we go. And let's get some poses from that. So first things first is these do not stay up very well. The pegs are not very tight. I don't know if it's just mine or if it's like a widespread problem. But it will make it a little bit harder to do things. So first we're going to have him throwing a punch. It's very rare for, Doc Ock to probably do that without it just being from his tentacles. But this is our big beefy boy from the 90s, so I have a feeling he'll throw down. So we're going to get that right arm in front, get this left knee bent, right leg straight out behind him, get the waist twisted, knock over the AC unit, and then the tentacles are all bendy, so you'll probably have to use some to support him to make it so it's easier for him to stand, which is kind of also nice. And then you can have like one or two do whatever you want. So I'm going to have this one up here, kind of twist it all about. They do have to take a little bit of fighting. And boom. Now you've got him standing there in a fighting pose. And you've got the tentacles kind of all around him. So you got the left knee bent. Right leg is straight behind him. Twist the waist that way the left arm's behind him and the right arm's pulling in front. He's looking facing forward at where he's trying to swing. You can kind of tilt his head a little bit if you want him to be a little more arched. But there we go. And then again, like I said, this will probably gradually fall over time. And you can see how far away or apart the legs are there. And you don't really have to worry about balancing too much if you use the tentacles as like kickstands, which is kind of nice. From there, let's maybe do just like a kind of hunched over stance, like he's very angry and going to use mostly use his tentacles for the fight this time. So let's get the knees bent in. Maybe, come on. There we go. Yeah, because of the big boots and the gauntlets, it is a little harder to pose him because it does hinder the double jointed knees and elbows. But you can still get some stuff going. So get the tentacles all cattywampus here, make them look cool. And then again, this is another situation where if you do it right, you can use the tentacles to hold him up. So you can see, like, I've got the one kind of arched a certain way on the left. I'm going to do this similar with this one. Maybe put it behind him a little bit. And wrap it around the side. And that will make it so he's less likely to fall over, which is nice. And then you just have to finagle the top ones to make sure they don't fall down. So yeah, both knees bent as far as they can go-ish. Spread apart. He is kind of hunched over just a little bit. Both arms are in like 90-degree angles. And pull it back behind him. You've got the tentacles all over the place. Here's another view where you can see where he's kind of hunched over a little bit. You got the 90-degree at the arms and not quite at the legs. Head is tilted up a little bit. And then you can see all the tentacles bent in which ways, which you can kind of do however you want. And then we're going to do... let's have him let's show you how to wrap the tentacles around like Spider-Man. So I'm gonna use him off Spider-Man because he's a little tinier, it'll be a little easier. And get this hand here, like he's gloating as he's crushing Spider-Man. You are gonna definitely need to use the tentacles as kickstands for this one, because when you add the extra weight of another figure, it's a little more difficult. This will be another situation where the arm is gonna be a pain to or the tentacle is going to be a pain to get to stay up because of those loose pegs. However, you can use the lower tentacle that's holding him on the ground as almost like a resting for Spider-Man. So and then another thing is you want to make sure to twist this up as much as possible beforehand because you want it to be nice and tight and then try to slide the figure into it slowly versus trying to get it to go tight around the figure because that's going to be a bigger pain in the long run. I also did that a little too close. Let me see if I can get this a little further out so it's not like right up against him. Otherwise it's going to look weird. So we're going to use my Mofex Spidey here because he's a little skinnier, so it's a little easier. Just slowly bring this around and kind of squeeze it tight. And let me bring that up on there. Oh, and his arm popped off. Let me fix that real quick. Pop that back into place. Oh, come on. Which, of course, is going to be difficult because he's wrapped in tentacles. There we go. All right, we're going to wrap him up some more. Try to make it so that way most of his weight's being held by that tentacle. But like I said, you are going to have to use one of the other ones as kind of like a resting kickstand for him as well. So you'll probably have to adjust one of his legs and kind of make it look like he's on his own, but really he's being supported by something else. So get this straightened out here on the bottom of the ankle. And now you just have to try to find a way to balance them both. And come on. Let me bring this out in front a little bit. Come on. Yeah, let's put this, use that so it holds him forward. Bring that one forward a little bit too for Spidey. Come on. Maybe if we switch the legs and do that way. Maybe. There we go. I think we found the sweet spot. Nope, but it already fell. Bring this out a little more. Yeah, mess with these tentacles it takes forever. It's a lot of pain. And then also getting his balance just right. So there we go. So you see the legs are spread apart. You have the one arm behind him, the other one, out forward with that claw hand. You've got Spidey all wrapped tight, using this other tentacle to kind of prop him up. That's stuff you don't want to use a stand. You can use a flight stand if you want. I just don't like to do that too much. Even then, he still wants to fall over because it's so top heavy from both the figure and having Spidey in the tentacle. So I feel like this would be easier because like I said, the pegs are loose. So if you go through and like maybe glue them, it might make it easier because at least it's bendy, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, let's switch this hand here and we'll move on to our final pose, which is going to be him holding himself up with the tentacles. So you saw that it was a pain with Spidey. The question is, how hard is it going to be with just him? So we're going to get the legs down. We're going to point the toes to the ground like he's just kind of casually hanging there. And get the tentacles kind of straightened out and arched so that way they can hold him up. I'm also going to try to do it in a way that makes it so he's still on camera. Get this one straightened out as well. And the last one here. There we go. And the key is, like, obviously some of the claws are different than the other ones, so it's just trying to get them to be as flat as possible and as straight as possible, so that way they can kind of support his weight. And then also you want to make sure to kind of distribute it just right so it balances. And there you go. So we've got the toes dangling, he's facing forward, we've got the arms bent back behind him like he's being all pretentious. You can see here the tentacles are all arched like so. So that way you can kind of distribute his weight and balance him a little better. And then they will kind of slowly begin to buckle over time. So like if you want this on the shelf, it'll last a while, but you'll notice he starts to droop. Like even right now, he's kind of at a slant. And you have to kind of just finagle it and fix it the best you can. And there's a better look at how far apart they are from each other. So let's get this recentered here. Yeah, I like this. This is probably one of my favorite things to do with him, is have him up on his tentacles. But that's going to be it for this week's Let's Pose. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Help us out here at the channel. Let us know we're doing a good job. Also, tutorial-related content in your feed, including our reviews, Let's Poses, live streams, and the weekly podcast. And of course, let me know in the comments below what figures you'd like to see me pose next. I appreciate everyone's patience while I get through the list. And if you would like to help support us and help us bring more variety to the Let's Poses, you can head over to patreon.com/Modern Toy Fair. Link will be in the description below. We have a bunch of different tiers of different options, varying from anything getting physical prints of the photos I take for the reviews, getting access to some of our videos early, and even being able to join us on our live stream. So check that out. We greatly appreciate it. Again, it's patreon.com/Modern Toy Fair. You can hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. But that's going to be it for this week's episode. Hopefully see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.